So there's a great dynamic, which is a whole nother, fire. So we need a whole nother fire to sit beside to talk about the ironic and hilarious dynamics of being public. And that dynamic is a huge problem with public markets, is they only kind of just keep shooting up a little higher, 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 without any kind of reason.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Bush.
And really it goes in fits and starts, and eventually you die, or pieces of you die, and then you regenerate, right? And so we, had the biggest sales year of our lives in 2008, much bigger than we planned on. But now we've got these customers, and when you're a software-enabled service and not a software company, you actually have to make it all work for the customer. So that's a big entrepreneurial dynamic. Software-enabled services are great businesses to build, but then you have to hang around and actually make them work, right? Whereas if you could just sell the software and be like, bye-bye, you take a huge license, like 90% margin for software. It goes in the category of great work if you can get it, right? You get this license fee, and you run away. You hope they forget you, or at least your cell phone number. They have a terrible time. Then they call you, and they need the upgrade to fix it. Whereas if you're a software-enabled service, you say, listen, I'm going to use software. You don't need to know about it because I'm going to give it to you, but I'm just going to get you paid. Or a bank. Or Amazon. Amazon's like, I've got this great new version 6.0. You're like, yeah, but when's my book coming?
You had the hottest IPO of the year 2007, up 97% the first day of trading.
Yeah.
Happy day?
No, tragic, right? Because the reason it was up so high is because they talked to Cinda. Oh, it's not going to work, Jonathan. I've looked at the metrics and the
$18
Trans Global, the barometric pressure in Burundi clearly
You'd be lucky to clear.
What? Yeah. And we're like, but isn't it? Aren't we 38 times oversubscribed?
That should have been your money.
And that's my money. That's not. It's missing. Every day, our CFO. Every day, are we over it now? Not yet, Carl. Every day, I'm still mad at him because we left it. But of course, meanwhile, nothing's better for PR than having the #1 IPO of 2007.
You're hot. It's in the Wall Street Journal.
Whereas that other guy from Enron took $50 million out of the Treasury, and he's in jail.
Yes, he is. Your father, Jonathan, brother of former President of the United States.
Yep.
Uncle of
Talk about an anticlimax.
43. Yeah, it must be tough. We'll talk about that. He famously helped put together the financing for cousin George W. Bush's Arbusto oil.
That's right. And 16 other things that didn't work.
Did he help your first in your first 1.6 million? Did he help you get financing together?
He did. He put money in, and he got his brother George.
Really?
To put money in, and Barr.
The most fun uncle.
And I was ready with 93 spreadsheets and an elaborate explanation, and my Korean partner who had even more spreadsheets. And he said, yeah, but do you believe in it? Like, well, I mean, I've been working on, yes, I mean, yes, 3 years, yes, I believe it.
No, he meant, do you
okay,
believe
Barr
in
and
it?
I are in, I was like, wait a minute, what about, do you want to see my, no, gotta go, bye, I got a big fish, But anyway, there's these brilliant guys, and it's like, do they believe in it? Yeah, they really believe in it.
Speaking of Charles
River.
That's
what this is, yeah.
You're in the Arsenal Mall.
Yep.
You've got 800 or 900 employees in there.
Yeah.
What are they all doing?
Jesus, I don't know. Seems like a lot. We've got 800 in India. Most of them are at Pro Systems, but about 50 of ours. We got 200 in Maine, in Belfast, Maine, and we got about 600 in Watertown. Watertown is our analytics group. And then in India, we have the ability, once we figure out a complicated process where these guys in Maine are banging away at it, if we can get it routinized, we can outsource it. And the next thing we can do is the guy in India can automate it.
Let's digress again.
Sure.
But your first move to India, I think, was a disaster. Have I got that right?
It's possible. I don't remember. I blanked it out.
That's convenient.
Magic man.
All right, audience. It was no problem at all. Indian Americans, it was rocking.
No. I mean, I remember it as really positive.
You could go
I
into
think
politics.
The first time we outsourced was a disaster, and we outsourced to a foreign country called Atlanta.
Oh.
And that was a disaster because it snowed one day, and it was like, nothing else. We're not doing this thing. There's a whole inch on the ground, son. And you're our smallest customer. Whereas in India, it was like, oh, we are so happy to, there was no... We have 17 people who will bring their children and help them type faster. There was no way that these guys were going to miss. And so the quality of the work, the energy and the emotion, the entrepreneurial mojo behind typing numbers from pieces of paper into blank screens, we were taking the billing and the charts and making it feel like it was rock star. It was like Billy Bush, Access Hollywood, following up on claims. And they were taking the data entry associated with our work and making it feel like Access Hollywood. And when you go over there, I swear to God, you want to be a part of it so badly. You want to be there. I'm up at 3, 4 in the morning, and they've got the mojo, and they've got cell phones, and they make more money than their parents, and they have the integrity and passion that any 4 of us, you all, I mean, half you guys probably know, but it's like they're amazing, you know. And you think about what's happening to India with the gross domestic product growing faster than we ever did, including in our Industrial Revolution at the end of the 19th century, faster than that, right, and in a more sustainable way, because these are outsourcers who can, if you dump them, can say, fine, bye-bye, and move on to another client, and another, and another, and another. That's actually quite sustainable. That's very moving. I mean, that's really got more mojo than kind of we do. Well, I feel like the reason Athena's been successful, a reason, same as these guys, is because there's actually, we don't wear it on our sleeves too terribly much, but there is a real cause. Healthcare sucks so badly, half of us are swallowing a little bit of puke every time we get the stupid bill or go to the stupid office.
Waiter, check, please.
Well, you know what I mean? I mean, it just feels so, man, the idea of being a hero, of doing something bigger than yourself, more important than yourself, makes people work. Because we were losing money. We've been alive for 11 years as a company, and we've lost money for 8 of them. Right? So it's like, hang in there. Whew, you know, we got it.
Keep talking.
But in the meantime, we're a cause. We're worthwhile.
Yes.
Even if we blow it,
yes,
we will have blown it with feeling for a reason. And Batman was like, part of that, this guy had to lose weight, and he's like, well, will you make it superhero day if I don't become a type 2 diabetic and I lose 80 pounds or whatever? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. And like the whole senior management team came in that day because he lost 80 pounds in 3 months. And he was amazing. And so everybody felt like they were part of each other's cause, and that was just one anecdote like that. But there's a million of them.
I'm a doctor. Why do I need you? What are you going to do for me?
Going to get you paid 35% faster and 11% more. And we won't talk about the fact that we're going to quietly slip a single information backbone underneath your office and span the whole country with it so that every chart in America will be accessible by every other doctor in America.
But first on billing.
Because that's not going to make you any more money, so we'll leave that to us. And we'll
you
just
keep
get
track of what all the insurance companies require.
Yep.
You build that into your...
And Baram Bamarama. If he needs like new rules, you know, there's a $29 billion is the gross, 19 is the net number. The Congressional Budget Office taxes it, you know, assumes there'll be some savings. But all of that is going to include new rules, new regulations, new standards that doctors have to meet, and they're going to change all the time.
You stay on top of that all the time. I don't have to worry about it.
That's right.
You collect the bill, and you take what cut out of it?
We put the money in the bank, and then when it's all settled up, we get 5% on average. As little as 2, as much as 8.
That's the billing piece. What about the clinical
Another
part?
2%. And we send out... So
2%, what's that mean?
Here's a tragedy for you. Doctors are enraged by the fact that 35% of the claims they send to the insurance company need to be reworked. And they call and say, what happened to claim number 123? We didn't get it. And they go around and around until they get it. They eventually get it. 10% of the time they lose it completely. But most of the time they just get hassled until they get it, right? So it turns out that if they send an order to the laboratory and don't get a result back, blood work, prescription, they still get paid. So 28% of the prescriptions they send out never get filled. 58% of the orders they send, specialist orders, don't ever come back to them. So they're sending these things out that are the things that they think are needed. They're not profiting from it. This is what the patient needs. The patient either gets it and the information doesn't come back. The patient doesn't get it because, you know, last time a guy sent me to a urologist, I developed a busy calendar. You know, I don't know what they're going to do in there, but wherever they're going, I don't want them to be. Yeah. Point is that somehow most, literally half. Imagine an error rate. Imagine an industry where the fail rate was 50%, right? That's like PCs in 88.
How do you close that circle? What is it you do exactly?
So we say, look, we'll send the orders. We'll send the prescription to the pharmacy. Don't you send it, we'll send it. We'll send the order to the lab. And this is the big deal, and this is where the Indian connection for us began, is the only way to do it is not to say, and for every single person you send it to that's totally automated, nobody, we'll handle it completely on the back end. We said, listen, I don't care who it is. I don't care if you send it to Barnes & Noble. We're going to handle what comes back. And we're going to let you know what didn't come back, and we're going to follow up on it for you. And what that meant is the only way you could do it is you call Verizon and you forwarded the fax machine. Do you know that doctors get 98% of their shit back on a fax machine? 98%. So suddenly we find ourselves, if you really want to know what the lab result was, you need to read faxes. We read 1,504 faxes per doctor per month. and some of them are abnormal lab results, and some of them are stat